Hey, it's Ginny with LearnWithGinny.com. I help uber busy moms like myself, who is also an uber busy mom, get their businesses online and profitable. So today's topic is 8 tips for prospecting on social media. Now, I'm going to tell the honest truth here. I do not do this because it takes too much time. But when you're first starting and you need to get sales and people and you have a small budget for advertising, you're going to need, to continue to prospect online. So, and it takes a lot of time. So, but these are the 8 tips, and I will send you the link to the blog post so that you can read them and find more resources for more tips, because I actually got some of these tips from Julie Burke, who wrote an awesome course called Social Media Recruiting. And you can also download, if you visit my post, you can download her free script. There's a script guide. It's called Social Media Recruiting Frenzy, and you can get a lot of scripts from there that you can use. But remember, when you're using a script, that you still need to be you. You don't want to sound like a robot. And that's a free tip right there. That's not even on my list. So, here's some questions that I get, about doing this kind of thing. And maybe it sounds like you. And if you're live on Facebook over here, make sure you chime in and say hi. Tell me where you're from. And tell me what your questions are, because I will be glad to answer them in the future. And if you don't like posting them, that's fine. Message me. Lots of people do it that way. And if I'm looking back and forth, it's because I have 2 recordings going just in case the Facebook Live dies, because that happens. And then I have the recording as a backup, and I also put it in my blog post. So if you're blogging, that's an excellent way to stack your content and get more views in social media, because I put it on YouTube. Anyway, here are the questions that I get. So, why does prospecting have to be so awkward? And here's another one. When do I bring up the business, the product, in the conversation? So whether it's online or offline, a lot of us make it awkward, especially when we first start in this business. It's like all of a sudden we forget how to talk to people. And it doesn't have to be, you're making it a little bit more complicated than what it needs to be. And I totally get it. I've done it too. So, tip number 1 is to be you and lead with your compassion and your empathy for people. Be authentic. Just relax and be you. If you have to, I wrote a post a while back about your social compass, your moral compass with your kids. Revisit that and go back to figuring out who you are and what you stand for, because that's who you want to be, right? So lead with who you are. And if you, as you're scrolling or fishing for those people, when you're looking at their profiles, make sure that they're a person that will be a good fit. Because not everyone is going to be a good fit for you. And not everyone is going to want to buy what you have to offer. So don't think that you're selling constantly either. Number 2 is to practice. And this is a skill that takes practice. And, be patient with yourself, because you're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. And if you're talking to your warm market, which would be your friends and family, people who know you, they're going to be more forgiving anyway. They're going to, realize that you're doing something. And you know what? Just be honest and say, I got into this new business, and to be honest, I just feel really awkward about it, and blah, blah, blah. And then don't even talk about it anymore. Just be their friend, be who you are, and, just don't. Now, when you are prospecting, use positive language. Language is super important. And if you need to, go read a book about, using language. Even your self-talk, your language needs to be positive and good. So be upbeat, be positive, and remember the whole reason why you're doing this in the first place. Because, you found something that helped you with some problem that you had, and you want to help others. So remember that whole reason and keep that passion, that compassion, inside. If you have to revisit it. But, write your vision down and whatever motivates you, and maybe read it before you start talking to people, just to remember what you're passionate about. Because you might not believe it when you're first starting, but after a while that's going to, wear, because the negativity will wear on you if you let it. But just remember, there's a lot of us out there. Number 3 is lead with a compliment. Make sure it's all about them. A great conversation always is about the other person. So make sure you compliment them. Like, oh, wow, Billy's doing great in basketball this year, hey? Say something like that, and that's a great opener for a conversation. Then you talk about their kids, you talk about, what they're doing. Oh, I see that you redecorated your daughter's room. It looks so cute. You're just so good at that. Stuff like that. Just compliment them. Number 4, keep your expectations in check. Okay? Do not be desperate for a sale. Just don't. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. So when you're in the cold market especially, you really need to get to know them, and they need to get to know you first. Even the giant brands, right? Like Kraft. You buy from Kraft because you know who they are by their brand. It's not, and your brand is your personal brand. So people need to get to know, like, and trust you. So have those conversations, and I have a couple of posts I put in my post today that I linked to about spamming and about being annoying on social media. So make sure you read those too, so that you're not being one of those. Number 5 is nurture that relationship. Remember that it takes time. It's like you're at a party when you're on Facebook, Twitter, or whatever. You don't go to a party to sell and prospect. You go to a party to socialize, to get to know people, make new friends, to have a good time. So that's what you're doing. You're doing that. And then if it happens that you think, oh wow, you're having this issue, I know that I have something that could help you, then you can bring it up in the conversation a little bit. But for the most part, you're going to want people to ask you, because as you're putting out content or whatever, that's what personal branding is all about, and that's what attraction marketing is all about. You want people to ask you. So keep the conversation about them. Number 6 is to stay in control of the conversation, and this all has to do with posture. Posture is important in sales. You need to be confident, be yourself, but stay in control. Remember to keep yourself out of the spotlight. Like I said, it's all about them. And remember that you have an authority. You are an expert. Everyone's an expert in something, and everyone has something to give. So do you, right? So remember to keep your confident posture. And when you actually hop on the phone with them, after they ask, this is after they ask, of course, but remember that you are not trying to convince them of anything. You don't try to convince. You simply have a solution to a problem, right? Even if you're dead broke, don't try to convince people. Keep your posture. And that brings me right into number 7, don't be needy. Needy people will never recruit people or sell. I mean, if you're too needy, I'll just use an example from where I live. We have, a state fair, And when you go there, there's these vendors that are in the center aisle that want you to play their games, you know, and they're like, oh, come over here, come over here. It's like you just want to put your head down and not look at them, or no, don't make eye contact because I don't want them to talk to me. You know, you don't want to be that person. So don't be needy, period. I'm going to recommend a book called, what is it called? I just forgot. The Villain, it's a villain's book by Ben Settle or something like that. He talks about their personality traits. I will put a link in my post because I did do a blog post in the past about that, and those are some personality traits that you're going to want to nurture in yourself. Number 8 is always be busy and always be in action. Now, for most of us, this is not hard to do because we are busy people. We don't have time, right? So be busy, and when someone asks about your product or your biz, you know, say, hey, do you have 5 minutes to chat? And get on the phone with them, get on a video chat. You only have, and make sure you say, I only have, 5 minutes. So, just try to figure out what it is that they need and say, hey, great, that's great. I know what to send you now. And you're done with the conversation. So you send them your link or your video or whatever, and then say, when is a good time to call you after you've seen this? Don't leave it open-ended and flailing out there. Remember to be in control. Be in control of the conversation. Have that posture. So I hope this helps you, and I hope that you are going to have a great day. Make sure that you comment and let me know if there's more I can help you with, or if there's more questions that you have that I can answer in a future post. So make sure you visit. I put the link, again, I'll put the link in later today, so in this video, so that you can go read the post and look for Julie's social media recruiting frenzy, where you can download those scripts. And also down in there is the attraction marketing formula, which I'll be honest, like I said in the very beginning of this video, I don't really have time for all of this, going out prospecting. And if you are like that, but if you're first starting, definitely do it. Definitely do it, because you got to get going, right? So I'm going to end this now because I'm babbling. So make it a great day, and I'll see you on the internet tomorrow morning.